Hey, what's up, guys? It's Network, and we're back with another video. And today we're talking about the timeline to create a successful CPN. And by the network, this is educational purposes only. And the reason I want to talk about this, guys, is because I get a lot of questions about you guys asking how long would it take to make a file? How long would it take for you to actually be able to get active on the file or to do whatever you're trying to do with the file? So I want to just talk about some basic steps in the process. This is for people who just want to understand how long it usually takes for this type of stuff and what you could really exactly expect. Now, I do want you to keep in mind that there are multiple ways to make a CPN. This is not the only way to make a CPN, and it's actually quicker ways to actually get a file to be able to be uh, produced and to be able to make it do something you want it to do. But if you want to have a file that is actually functional and you want to have scores on all three credit bureaus, there's going to be certain things that you need to do to be able to get scores on all three bureaus. Now, you can get a score on one bureau and be able to get active in 24 to 48 hours, but you won't be able to use that file in every location or wherever that they sometimes there's CPN friendly places that won't allow you to be able to only have one score on one credit bureau because that doesn't portray an actual credit profile, and it could actually bring up red flags. So what will this process explain? This guide will explore the typical timeline for creating a successful CPN file from beginning to end. You'll learn what to expect during the entire process, including essential do's and don'ts, as well as factors that can either help or hinder your progress. So we will also briefly outline the steps to build these profiles effectively. Please note that this presentation is for educational purposes only, guys, so we're not going to be really going into detail on how to build a file or anything like that, but I'm going to be telling you the process of how it goes and how long things could take. So how long does it take to create a CPN? So establishing an actual CPN can take anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, depending on your familiarity of the file creation process. To begin, it's essential to understand the fundamental workings of a CPN. So our credit protection number. This legal number was initially designed to safeguard individuals such as politicians and celebrities from having their identities revealed through sensitive information like social security numbers, date of birth, addresses, etc. So, guys, this was actually created, and it's actually something that's legal. It's for people who their information is basically public. Like, you can look up pretty much any celebrity and find their address, their name, date of birth, etc. And somebody that's even a little bit savvy on a computer could possibly find their social security number. So what this does is safeguards these people from being able to have their social security number exposed, and then all of their credit tied to their social security number, and then that would expose them to an array of security issues. So these files can be combined with other data to generate what is known as a credit protection number, which can then be utilized to create a credit profile. And this is for educational purposes only. So how long does the process take? So let's see. When creating a file, the actual file setup should take between 15 minutes to an hour. After that, merging the file typically requires around 24 hours for all information to be finalized with the data collection agencies. Once this is complete, you can add credit or utilize the file as you see fit. This initial process is often the quickest step in the overall procedure. To give you a clear picture, expect it to take around 24 to 48 hours to build the file skeleton. After that, you can proceed to add public records to the file, which may vary in duration based on the number of records being processed. So basically, guys, it's not really a difficult thing to do. The base of the file is basically getting a name, date of birth, and then you want to get a proper address for the file. I always tell people Zillow is a good place to find proper addresses. So some people use places like Zillow. Then they write in their notes the name of the file. Usually people match the name of the file to their actual name so they can actually use their identification for any documentation issues that they may run into or something like that. So then you're using that name, and then you use that address. And then so you take all of that information, and then you want to be able to create a number sequence. So a number sequence is a number that resembles social security number. So this number resembles the exact sequences, not the exact sequences, but they have sequences that basically represent the social security number for the CPN file. And then that number is going to be tied to the name and the date of birth and the address that is tied to the file. So all of this information would be stored somewhere safe, and that information would be then entered into at least 3 applications, and that those 3 applications would be credit card applications that would basically send a signal to credit bureaus and ask the credit bureaus, hey, can we get an application with you guys, because we are trying to get approval for credit. So then when those applications are sent to the credit bureaus, then the credit bureaus will call out for the data agencies to be able to put together a file for this person's name. And if that person's name isn't already in the system, then now it is. So once that is done around 3 times and preferably, a lot of people don't understand this process with tri-merging. You want to make sure that in the tri-merging process that you're merging into all 3 credit bureaus and not just 2. A lot of people do 2. So you want to make sure that the applications that are in regards to you tri-merging the file all cover all 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So once that is done, those applications will be calling out to the data collection agencies and the credit bureaus, and then the credit bureaus will create a file for that CPN. And then once that is done, then you could take that to Credit Karma, and then you put that same information to the Credit Karma, and Credit Karma will recognize that information. And then that's basically how a file would be created, educational purposes only. So what are public records? So public records are going to be part of this process. So basically what I just explained to you about the tri-merging process is the same thing with actual public records. So public records are maintained by data collection agencies and can originate from various applications, reward programs, or any system that captures information. These companies store data for multiple reasons, including selling it to data collection agencies, facilitating security verification, and supporting credit bureaus. This process benefits credit profile numbers by integrating their information, making it detectable and verifiable. So for a file to be approved for credit, it must be verifiable, guys. So public records is all it's doing is basically making the file verifiable. So I want to get through this a little faster, guys. I'm trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes. So do you need public records? So establishing public records is an essential part of creating a file, as it must be verifiable for future credit applications. So during the merging process, each file undergoes a basic public records check. This occurs when the file is integrated into the credit bureaus to build the credit profile number. This process, known as tri-merging, involves inputting all information from the file into data collection agencies through credit card applications. It doesn't have to be the credit card applications, though. It could be rewards programs. It could be library cards. It could be pretty much anything. Applying for a fishing license. This allows the credit bureaus to match the information, resulting in the creation of a file, which ultimately leads to the formation of a CPN. So how long would this take? So if you can secure a public records bot, you can significantly speed up the process of merging your files compared to someone manually submitting each application. To gain access to such a bot, you might need assistance from the network on Telegram, and that'll be in the link below. So this bot can quickly handle applications for you, allowing your file to be entered into thousands of data systems, making it recognizable across various platforms and merchants. And no, it's not going to put thousands of inquiries on your file, because a lot of people think, well, since I can get put into the public record from credit applications, why don't I just do a whole bunch of credit card applications? Well, no, you can't do that, guys, because then you'll run up the inquiries on the file, and then the file would be basically not usable, because too many inquiries are going to make the credit score very low, because nobody wants to look at a credit profile that looks desperate and constantly requesting credit. So additionally, it's important to be included in respected systems like Chase, Discover, and American Express through authorized user lines. So guys, a lot of these authorized user credit lines are not respected as they used to be anymore. The best authorized user lines, in my experience these days, are Chase trade lines and Discover trade lines. American Express is losing a little bit of steam only because they don't report the history on the file. And these authorized user lines carry more credibility than basic public records. So after public records, you complete your public records, you can proceed to add trade lines to your file, like we talked about, such as authorized user lines and primary accounts. These trade lines will enable you to generate a score for your CPN file, facilitating credit approvals. However, getting approvals for CPNs have become more challenging for various reasons, particularly because many individuals are attempting to enhance their credit with authorized user trade lines only. To secure approvals on your CPN files, you must adapt to the changing landscape, guys. You have to apply for more permanent accounts on your CPNs, educational purposes only. So when you're on a CPN, you don't want to have all authorized user trade lines. It's called credit. It's basically having a credit variety. You want a variety of credit on the CPNs to be able to use the CPNs properly. So you want primary lines, you want paid off credit lines. So a lot of places like Tomo Boost is a place where it could put paid off credit accounts on your file. So those would basically count as primaries. Those are a lot stronger than what you would call your traditional authorized user line. Your authorized user line is like an old way of doing it, guys. Like, they have so many systems and so many sources that you could use to add primaries to your CPNs that it can give you a nice credit variety, what they like to call it a credit mix. And that credit mix is going to give you a lot more leg room in regards to moving with your file. So a lot of companies, they won't necessarily care if you have a 700 score if you have a 700 score solely off of authorized user lines. So the process has become increasingly intricate, as some data agencies may flag trade lines added to CPNs. Additionally, many companies, especially credit card issuers, often do not approve applications based solely on authorized user lines, like we were talking about. So nowadays, the most crucial factor for CPNs seeking approval is a solid credit history, which has always been the intended purpose for CPNs. So guys, they were designed to function as legitimate credit profiles and be taken seriously. So rather than being misused, there are specific trade lines available that can help CPNs establish a more robust credit history, enhancing their credibility and adding age, etc. So guys, CPNs were meant to be used long term. So if there's no credit mix, then obviously that's a sign that the file hasn't been used long term, and nobody really gives a lot of credit out to new credit accounts. So age, credit mix is going to be a big thing. I know a lot of people have been saying for years, like, CPNs are dead. I can't use a CPN. It's not approving anymore and stuff like that. But it's like, you guys are ignoring the common sense part of not all of you, but a lot of people are ignoring the common sense issues. And it's just credit mix and credit age. you want to make sure that your credit age is as old as possible, and you want to make sure that your credit mix is as varied as possible. So, how long does trade line process take? So if a trade line is added at the optimal time for the appropriate account, it could reflect within a few days. However, for accounts like American Express, the addition may take 7 to 14 days due to their specific reporting cycle. This means that these accounts might report in the next cycle, potentially extending the posting time to up to 30 days. Generally, it's advisable to allow around 30 days for a trade line to appear on the file. This time frame would lead to a well-functioned traditional CPN file, increasing the chances of approval at most CPN-friendly locations. So give it around 30 days, guys. You give it around 30 days, you build the file up, you try to get the bot on the file. You definitely want to get the trade lines on the file, and you definitely want to get public records on the file, even if you have to do them manually. And you just want to make sure you build the file in the proper name so you have the proper documentation. And then you move on to basically liquidating the file or building the file further and aging it and just building it into a quality file. So thanks for watching, guys. Click the link below to subscribe to our Telegram channel for updates, request same-day file methods, or ask for same-day file creation. Those are a little bit different CPNs. Those CPNs can be created a lot quicker, and those can be liquidated quicker. So if you need any of those, you can contact us for those. If you look for traditional files with Chase trade lines and stuff like that, we can help you out with that as well. Just click the link below, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.